In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about the bin system in GroKit Core. I'm going to come to the GroBlocks window and type bin. Add a bin system with display to the scene. The bin system is made up of multiple components, including a display. The display shows what the bin is asking for, what items are currently in the bin, which of those items are correct, and which are incorrect. If we expand the bin system and look at the bin trigger, we can see that we have a list of requirements for the bin. Currently, these requirements are using prefabs in our project folder, but we can also just use elements from the scene. I'm going to clear the list so that we can create our own. If we add an item to our bin requirements list, we can see that it's looking for an item in a string. So what I'll do is I'll simply create a 3D object and add an item ID string component. I'm going to set the box collider to isTrigger, and I'm giving it an item ID of linen. In my bin trigger list, I can add this as one of the bin requirements. What this will do on play mode is it will let the bin know that it is looking for item ID strings, which are set to the item ID of the item in the list. In this case, linen. Let's it play and test out. If we look at the debug section of our bin trigger during play mode, we can see it update in real time. I'm going to lock the inspector and select my cube. We can see that the correct items has been updated. Our list of correct items shows our cube. We can also see that our display is updated. The bin requirements are set to linen. Items in bin will show which items I've added and of those which are correct and incorrect. Because the bin requirements are looking for the item ID string, if we duplicate, we can see that either object marked linen counts as correct. Make a note here that because we only have one required for the bin, if we were to add both at the same time, one of them would count as incorrect. If we want multiple items to count as correct, we need to make sure that we add those to the bin requirements. Now that each of these has been added, I can add both and both count as correct. If we grab our cube and duplicate it and set its tag to something like trash, we'll be able to see both correct and incorrect in action. So move our first cube, which is tagged linen in, it's marked as a correct item. Move our second cube, which is marked as trash, gets marked as incorrect. Both of them are in. We can see that there is trash and linen in the bin, but only one of them is correct. In this case, linen. In addition to the bin requirements, we also have correct events, incorrect events, reset, and bin updated. You can use these events to create lots of different custom functionality. Note that on the global prefab, we have correct event and incorrect event automatically, talking to the parent's outward activator, on and off event respectively. Do be aware, however, that this correct event and this incorrect event do not trigger when individual objects enter the bin, but when the bin is told to be checked. When check bin is run, it will see which items are currently in the bin that are correct, which ones are incorrect. If all of the items in the bin are correct with no incorrect items, the correct event will fire. If there are any incorrect items in the bin, the incorrect event will fire. That's all for the bin system with GroKit Core. Check out our other tutorials for more information.